Hey everyone, you're watching another episode of Ash on Comics, and it's time for, you guessed it, the In and Out Weekly Comics Pull List. Number 19. Can you believe it's been 19 weeks this year? First month of May, we're into summer, and of course, Marvel is not slowing down with the number ones. Remember, they are doubling down on last year, which I was covering about their release of number ones gimmicks to fleece the market and try to get everyone to buy their books. What they're doing right now, in my opinion, is using their market position, which the number one, they've been number one forever, to strangle out the competition. They don't, if you look at not top 10 lists and like who sells the most books, as far as like the top issues, DC is dominant over Marvel. Like, it's generally not a contest. Generally, DC has like the top 4, sometimes the top 5, but those top 5 sell so much more than the bottom 5. And DC has about half as many comics they produce per month. So what Marvel does is they don't, if they can get you to divert your funds, because most comic readers, like myself especially, or buyers, only have so much that they budget on comics every week. If they can get you to spend your money on their gimmicks, then that's money not going to the competition. And even if you don't stick around, you know, you buy a couple issues and you're like, it sucks, and you move on, they get you on the next one. This is the same exact, well, not exactly, but it's very, very similar technique. You'll notice this happens in the fast food industry amongst the cheaper fast food businesses, such as like Taco Bell, Pizza Hut. If you think about all the different fast food chains and the ones that have like the cheapest quality food, they're constantly having try this new thing, you know, and it's always these limited time menu options because they know you're not going to stick around for the quality. But it's in our nature to get something new. And I'm guilty of this, man. I'm a huge sucker for Doritos and Mountain Dew. Every time those guys have a new flavor, I'm like, I gotta try it. It's like, it's just part of our psychology. But that's okay as long as you can recognize this and then you can maybe not let it drive your life. So here we are for this month. I got in a little debate with someone online about, Marvel's not actually releasing that many. No, this is a slow, maybe this is an average week for Marvel. 4. I've seen it go up to 7. This is pretty consistent, and I'm going to try by issue 20 to go through and add up all of them to see how many times 20, how many they've released so far this year. It's going to be over 100 before the year's end. Easily. If it's averaging 4 times 20, that's 80 by half, not even half the year. So let's get underway. Marvel Tales Avengers number 1. Look at that. For the low price of $7.99, you can have a book with 3, not 2, not 1, 3 True Believers reprints in one book for not $3 like you'd expect. You know what costs more to print 3 comics than it does to print 1? And you can get 3 for $3. Why is this $8? That's more than double. And the art on this cover is horrendous. It's got like Thor holding his hammer like sideways. And then I was going to take a picture. I should have. There's a variant cover. There's no new stuff in this, by the way. There's nothing new. And there's a variant cover for this, which isn't even different art. It's just Virgin. They just didn't put the trade dress on. Which I don't know why you would want that, because the art is just terrible. Why would you? It was at my store for $50. I'm like, who the hell wants a $50 Oh my God. This is what Marvel's doing. Oh, look, another Avengers book, number 1. Not one Avengers number 1, 2 Avengers number Savage Avengers. Here's another one that had multiple variant covers. 2 of them were on my store. My store has a Chase variant shelf where every week all the chase variants go on and you can spend exorbitant amounts of money. They had 2 variants on that shelf for this. One was, I think, $25 and the other one was $115. That's like so stupid. $4. Okay, look, $4. There we go. I mean, $4 is already too expensive. What are we kidding? It's Star Wars. Every week is a new Star Wars #1. Marked every week. They ran out of Age of Republic stuff to do, so now it's Age of Rebellion. And when they run out of this, they'll mine the new Disney trilogy. It'll be Age of Resistance. Oh, mark my words. Oh, look at this. Another War of the Realms. How many War of the Realms books are there? I think there's more than it was advertised. Maybe, I don't know. This War of the Realms Strike Force, the Dark Elf Realm. It's not War of the Realms Strike Force #1. So there must be multiple War of the Realms Strike Force books. This is so sad. $20.96. You could have all 4 of these #1s, bank them away. Oh boy. Anyways, let's actually get what's under the cover. That's way better than any of these books. It's hard to unbox this with one hand. Napkins, those are important. Oh, I got a little smashed. One thing I don't understand about In-N-Out, and I don't make a fuss really, because it's not that big of a deal. It just kind of makes a burger look not look as pretty. But I don't like why they lay the burger down in this box, because it's taller than the box. When you put the lid over, it smashes it. But so, double with onions, add pickle, extra spread, and then add ketchup on top of the spread. That's how I order my burger, in case anyone cared. Let's go ahead and put that. Sorry, making you look at that. That was tasty. Gotta wash it down with a nice cold drink in a Star Wars glass. Real old school Star Wars. All right, before we get started, let's take a look at YouTube. These are the channels that Ash on Comics, the Ash on Comics channel, subscribes to. And you can see there's quite a bit. I think there's like 40 something. These are all comics related channels that are similar or in some way related to the same stuff I do. So any of these are worth subscribing to. But today I want to feature a channel, Back Issue Binge. My buddy Dave. He's been a good friend of the channel. I follow him on Twitter. He follows me. And he really does these great pull list videos. I really love his pull list videos. They're very short, but they're very sweet. And they're full of energy and enthusiasm. And I've been trying to encourage him to do them on his YouTube channel. But he just started his channel. His channel is all back issue stuff. I think he's trying to be different, which is great. There's really too many channels that are all doing the same thing. And it just kind of... It makes you like have to pick. If you got... Look how many channels I follow. There's like 20 to 30 of these channels. Maybe 20 of them that all just kind of do the same thing. And it's like... When a big thing comes out, it'll be like, oh, look, the Captain Marvel movie. It's like over half of the channels are all like... Brie Larson said this, and it's just this. It's not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just an oversaturation from a consuming standpoint. It's like I don't want to watch 20 videos of the same thing, right? But Dave's one of the only people doing this, so I want to watch his because no one else is doing it. And I know the other stuff gets hits, so if those, the other viewers. They lose my watch, so they gain 100 more. I guess that's what they need to do. But anyways, his stuff's very personal. I really like that. He talks about how these old comics, when he was a kid, like this one is like the very first comics he ever got as a little kid. So I like that, how they made an impression on him. It's really cool. Really, dogs? Really? Come on. So... I tried to say, put your pull list stuff on here. He was like, no. Maybe he'll change his mind. Maybe you guys can go out there, check his channel, say the same thing, because I really like his pull list videos too. But shout out to Dave. Anyways, I spent forever. I did some long-winded as hell. Look at this. War of the Realms. A Marvel event this summer, 2019. 2019 is the number of total variant editions, not the year, although it is also the year. There are 79 issues of this. Jesus. Who can read 79 freaking comics? Good God. This is stupid. Spoiler alert. Look at this. My comic store gives me a discount. Good comic book store. Like you. It's a free comic. Of course, California sales tax is ridiculous, but what are you going to do? Oh, look. Here's the actual receipt. Oh, well, it's higher than what it said. Why is that? Well, because I picked up some other stuff on the rack. Oh boy, let's see what's going down. First, iPad, you gotta move. You are in the way. We've got Year of the Villain. Ooh, Batman Who Laughs. Legion of Doom. Plus, The Dark Secret of Leviathan. The Dark Secret of Leviathan is not a secret. It's at Bendis' writing it. This is stupid. 25 cents. Pick this up. Everyone should pick this up. It's worth a try. I flipped through this. This is not an ad book. You know, it's a full comic book with pretty decent art. Try it out. We sit here as comic book fans and we talk about, man, comic fans love to bitch about bad comics. Here's a comic book that's 25 cents. It's a full issue. And what's it going to hurt you? If it sucks, it's a quarter. But we want comic companies to do good promotion, right? We want them to earn our money. This is the opposite of what Marvel's doing. Give DC a chance. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to read this and say, I didn't like it. And you're out a quarter. Right? You're out a quarter. This is going to instantly be worth more than a quarter. It's instantly going to be worth $1 in the back issue bins as soon as it goes off the shelves. Buy this book. Buy it for someone else. Promote good comic book practices in the industry. Speaking of good comic book practices, here's DC not doing one. Super Sons should have never been canceled. It was one of DC's top books. It was their best book. And this is a token issue, 12-issue series because fans bitched and moaned, and they're like, oh, don't worry, we're going to give you a 12-issue miniseries. We don't want a 12-issue miniseries. We want the whole series to never have been canceled. But you had to make room for Bendis. So now we got this. And then when this is over, 2 more issues, there will be no more Super Sons. Hooray, I'll feel so great. Justice League. Now, I originally bought Justice League because I wanted to try it. And Jim Lee is one of my favorite artists of all time. And I really like the gimmick, even though I'm against variant covers. They're not going away, right? So if you can't beat them, join them, as the saying goes, right? And DC does a good job with their variant covers. They usually just do 2. And they don't do the whole chase cover nonsense unless it's like, Detective Comics 1000 or something super special. So I'm okay with the way they usually have an artist variant and then a normal variant. So long story short, DC was doing this, and I was like, I don't really like Justice League. Not because I didn't like the book. It was like I didn't like the concept. I was prejudiced against Justice League. But everyone's like, oh, Justice League. And now I'm a DC guy. So I'm like, I gotta at least try Justice League. And it makes sense to try it. And number 1 came out to like jump on board. Hey, it's number 1. But I didn't really read it. Sorry, I had to Zach there for a moment. I didn't read the book because not because I didn't think it would be good. Zack Snyder, this is one of the, Jorge Jimenez might be the best artist in the business right now. Like, he's easily top tier. He's one of the elites. If there's like a top 5 artists in comics, Jorge Jimenez is one. Huge fan of this guy's art. He was the guy, by the way, doing Super Sons. Snyder's a top tier writer. So I picked up the book. I was like, I have nothing to lose. I like this gimmick that Jim Lee was doing where every issue was one of the Justice League, starting with Batman. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy all the gimmick issues. They're going to do each guy's going to get a cover. I'm going to buy those issues and then take it from there. If I don't like Justice League after that, I'm going to give up and just move on. But at least I'll have this cool run of Needless to say, because I didn't read Metal and because I got behind all this other Rebirth stuff, I just followed the individual books that I read, and I didn't read this. And I just kept stacking up because it's a bi-weekly book. And now we're up to 23. So after I read Metal, I dived into Justice League because I loved Metal. No Justice was meh. It was okay. Then I dived into this, and this is good. Now, I'm not up to 23 yet, but it's very high concept comics, so I think that turns some people off. Sergeant Bats says that Snyder's like wannabe Grant Morrison, and maybe there's some truth to that, but I like high concept comic books. I like when a comic book makes me scratch my head in a good way. This is big, gigantic stories. Where I'm at, they're dealing with the whole Source Wall coming down and the end of the universe sort of stuff. And some people complain, like, I'm just tired of I'm like, well, that's Justice League is where that stuff belongs, right? If we want that big, massive type story, this is this book. If you want your street level stuff, you can go buy Batman, or Nightwing or whatever. You have books for everyone's taste. So I'm really enjoying this. Snyder's writing some good stuff. I really like how he writes these two together, Batman and Superman. I also like how he fits Batman into a gigantic galactic scale universe-shattering storyline. How a dude who just wears a cape and has gadgets can fit in. Like, to me, that's hokey, but obviously Batman does, and Snyder writes him in a way that I kind of feel says, oh, okay, Batman does have a seat at the table. That makes sense. Sorry. I normally don't ever talk about Justice League, so now I've been talking up a storm on that. So I'm going to catch up and really start adding Justice League to my reviews. Here's a book I haven't read. I only picked up because they canceled the other Green Lanterns, and I'm still behind. And here's another book I only buy because it's Batman. Speaking of Batman, look at this. Oh, man. TMNT and Batman. And I wasn't going to get this. My store auto-pulled this for me, and I handed it back, and they were like, oh, they gave me this look of like, why aren't you buying this thing that we pulled for you that you didn't ask for? And I was like, look, I don't like miniseries. And I gave my whole spiel. I don't really like miniseries. I think it's a way of gimmicking the buyer into like, oh, it's only 4 to 6 issues or whatever, and you just buy it. You don't have to make a commitment. But here's the thing. I'm into comics because I want to make a commitment. Right there. Look at that. I'm making a commitment, issue 70. Even though I'm not even wanting to read it, but I'm making a commit. I want to make a commitment. I don't buy it to do these miniseries should be a special event. It should be Dark Knight Returns. It should be Doomsday Clock. It should be Metal. Even War of the Realms, which I bag on, is worthy. I just bag on it because there's 73 tie-in issues to the 6-issue miniseries. But I stared at this on the shelf, and this is the artist variant cover, and I am a sucker for old school Turtles. Kevin Eastman art. Getting to see him draw Batman. I'm a big fan of James Tynion IV. I flipped open the book inside, and the art looked pretty good. And so I was like, you know what? DC's canceled all these other books. I have room on my pull list. Let's add it. Speaking of canceled books, Valiant seems to be on this kick. Here's another dollar debut, Ninjak #1. This book has been canceled for several months now. Why are you giving us a dollar debut of a book that's not running and you don't have one in the works? Exo-Man, at least the dollar debut of Exo-Man War came out before it ended. I mean, like a month before, but I don't know. Anyways, I picked this up because this is a great book, and I'm a fan of Ninjak, and I want to support Valiant doing good stuff, which $1 debut books like this are great ideas. Pick this up in the store. This is worth your dollar. Speaking of worth your dollar, I don't like miniseries. But they had the pre-order edition on the shelf, And I was like, my store only gets like one of these. Okay, so I picked it up. I do like Rye. I like Dan Abnett. So I'm like, it's a 5-issue miniseries. This might be the last of Valiant's good stuff. So let's see. And last, but certainly not least, it's out. Look at all its glory. I was going to play the Trump Space Force song, but you know how we operate here, our production values. The editor, the video editor called in sick. But look at this. Look at that awesome cover. Look at that. Chuck Dixon, Timothy Lim, Brett Smith. I mean, you can't. Why would you not buy this book? I feel bad because this did not make the shelf. They did not order enough to make the shelf. I think this book would sell more. But what are you going to do? I got my copy. I told them, called ahead. I even paid $4.99 for it. But it's thick. It's thick. And you know what else? It's not $25 plus $10 shipping like a lot of these other books, Comicsgate, Indiegogo books. So this is what Comicsgate books should be doing. They kickstarted this, or they Indiegogo'd it, or whatever, and fans went on, they supported it, got their special books, fine. And then guess what they did afterwards? They printed it and it went onto shelves. And then guess who bought it? Comic Fan. I bought it. Right? That's what everyone needs. That's what the model needs to be for Indiegogo. For the Comicsgate guys. The Comicsgate guys that just want to go get their money on the Indiegogo run and then forget about it. I'm not for that. That doesn't appeal to me. I'm not looking to give you one book I was interested in. I looked at online, and it was going to cost $37 after shipping to get to me for a comic. Oh my goodness! Not like a special version of the comic with the art and hand drawn sketch inside or anything. Just the base tier, $25 plus $12 shipping. I was like, I can't, this is not sustainable, right? Anyways, that is all for my comic pull this week. It was a long video. I apologize. It's supposed to be the in and out pull list, but I'm excited about comic books right now, and there's good stuff, and I've kind of reinvigorated with what's out there to get excited about, because there's so much negativity, especially with the Heroes in Crisis nonsense, and it's easy to get in that rut of like, why don't even buy comics anymore? And my answer is Trump Space Force, Valiant until they die. Cool stuff like James Tynion writing Batman with the Turtles running around. Justice League's doing some cool stuff. Super Sons. We'll see about Age. I got some pessimism about the Year of the Villain, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna be hopeful. And this isn't even my good week. This doesn't even have like Hawkman and Detective Comics and all the other good books. So what do you think is going to be the best? My guess is Trump Space Force. Fallen World I'm having some hopes for. What do you think is going to be the worst? My pick is Batman. So put comments below what you think, what you're buying. Tell me about it. Give me your feedback. Give me your opinions. And let's have a conversation. Also, if you're a fan of the channel, join us on Discord. We have more interactive communication. And I'll leave it closing with... now you're not going to drink. Now there's going to introduce the dog. But all right, I'll see you next week. Thanks.